Hello. It's me. I'm back. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing? I cannot get full screen. Am I full screen? There we go. We're in Singapore for the, what is it, the 6th race of the season? I don't know if I can, something like that. We have a session of 16 plus 1. I think Chubby Slug, the other Ferrari driver, will be joining us either imminently or in qualifying. I'm not sure. So 17 drivers. So we continue on with the full qualifying, done it every single session so far. So, brilliant attendance. Singapore's a fun track. It is the longest track on the calendar, I believe, in terms of time taken. It's either this or Baku. Oh, there's Chubby Slug, right at the death there. Perfect. 17 drivers. So, I can't remember, it's either Spa, Baku, or Singapore. One of the three is the track that takes the longest amount of time to complete, as in duration of time. I think it's about 48 to 51 minutes for Singapore, and I think it's like 38 minutes for Monza, which is the shortest. I don't know, something like that. Depends how nerdy you are. Yes, we've got 17 drivers coming in, absolute hot, full quality, 31 laps. This is the new Singapore layout, of course. Don't know what happened there. The Sector 3 has changed. So if you remember in Sector 3, if you think back to Lewis Hamilton's 2018 lap when they got on board with him, and you've got that bit where you go under the tunnel or under the bridge, and then it's like a left turn, and then it's like a short, and then it's like a right turn and a left turn. It's this sort of squarey bit. And that's gone. It's just a straight. There's no DRS zone on it. It's just a straight. So you come off the Anderson Bridge, you take that second gear corner, and it's straight all the way until the sort of penultimate sort of chicane. Which makes the track time a bit shorter. It's 1 minute. So the time trial at the moment is 1:26.4 from Leon. I think Leon, which is FatBoySim, I should say, Lucalis and Arwin are our favourites for pole. They're all floating in the 26.4s, 26.5s in time trial. I expect the pole time to be anywhere from a 27.1 to a 27.4. I think if anybody gets into the 26s, that'd be amazing. Presuming, of course, we have a dry session, which it appears we do. So, last time we raced in Singapore, it was quite a crazy race. There was a lot of wet. I think it was a wet start to the race, and it went dry because Kowalski, who was in the Haas at the time, pulled like a crazy. I think he went from like P17 to P5 or something ridiculous like that with his strategy. I can't remember. But the focus is now. Who is that who's come out? I need to set up all of my gubbins. That's a Williams, I think. Is that? Or is that a... No, it's an Alpine. It's Mr. CD. So we get to watch Mr. CD go around, as is our tradition. Having a look at the bottom of the grid, I think that is a Red Bull who's come out as well. Is that either Dale? It's probably Arwin. Arwin usually likes to go out pretty soon. There's a Mercedes coming out as well, which will be one of Kev or Tesco. Both Mercedes drivers, of course, DNF'd in Spa. Both of them after some good qualifying. Tesco was actually leading us for a little bit as well after his calamitous red flag restart. It's actually Dale that came out in the Red Bull there, as a correction, and both Mercedes are out, so we'll see how they go. But we're going to watch Mr. CD. But as you can see, in the bottom right of your picture there in Sector 3, it is a straight line from the bridge, that little that sort of second DRS zone, all the way to the penultimate chicane. So we will see how they get on. I am rocking a new beer. I'm on the Beavertown Neck Oil Session IPA, because I am a hipster, if you will. Mr. CD taking a unique line there. Deciding not to go through the old Singapore sling. But, outlap, all gloves are off. Let's have a look. That is Musty and the other Alpine, who's also come out as well as drivers start to make their way around. So, like say, Dale, who was that other? That is Kev in the next Mercedes then Tesco a little ways back, Musty. Then we see a V-Carb there and a Williams. That'll be Baz in the Williams, I believe. Coming out, and the kick of Bosch as well. But we are going to go on board with Mr. CD, as Mr. CD sets his first time of the session so far. Almost flat out all the way through the final couple of corners there. It's quite easy to invalidate. DRS open. As you enter the first complex of corners, you can cut a lot of the corners here, but you need to be careful not to invalidate, as Mr. CD keeps it very sort of, tentative, a bit careful there, not going to invalidate early on. Car can be a bit understeer. You want to cut through this corner here. Don't hit the wall on the outside. It just come at you quite quickly as you hit the second DRS zone. Going to go completely flat. I'm actually going to go on the onboard here as we watch Mr. CD go all the way down into this really complex second side. You can break at the 75-meter bar. You can use a lot of the inside curve there, but not too much, or it'll invalidate. And then you've got these strings of these sort of acute, almost 90-degree sort of S corners here, and it's really important to get the car all the way over to the right-hand side, or the left-hand side, as you need, and get the car rotated in and get on throttle as quick as you can. Here's where the old Singapore Sling is here. Really easy to cut the corner there and cut this curb here as well to gain time, but also really easy to lose it. Here's the hairpin going onto the Anderson Bridge. Turn in really early. Oh, it clobbers a bit of the wall for good measure, but he will keep it going. Really important to get a good sling on here because this is a DRS zone. It's a little bit straight, and then we get into this corner here. You can invalidate if you go wide here. You want to not cross the white line that he's just driving over now, and it's flat all the way down here. Dump whatever battery you have. Keep it over to the left-hand side. He's got a bit of traffic for company here. And you go through the final chicane in Sector 3 here. Forgive me, I don't know the turn numbers. Oh, the car rotates as he touches the curb a bit. And we come up to the last corner here, which you can take almost flat. It's just a gentle lift from Mr. CD, but he is going to cross the line and set the first time of a 1:30.336. We'll see how he goes on. Dale is next in the Red Bull. We'll see what he can put it as long as he keeps it within the white lines. He does. It's a 1:29.4 from Dale in the Red Bull, who's had a pretty solid start to the season. Kev comes over with a 1:28.6 first car into the 28. So we're going to watch Tesco as he goes around now. I think Arwen's going to be starting his lap in a minute, or he's just coming to the pits. But yeah, Tesco goes around now. He sets a 28.4. Both Mercedes comfortably into the 28th. I'm going to find Musty there and see how he gets on. I think he might be... No, Musty's about to start his lap, excuse me. I think he might have bailed. So he is going to start... He sets a 1:33.5, yeah. So he's going to start his lap now. There's a Haas going around the back there. That is Vibora, who is just going to start their lap. We're going to go on board with the Spaniard. Got into Q2 for the first time a handful of races ago. Unfortunately, wasn't able to finish in Spa after an accident in Eau Rouge. Looked to be all right through the first couple of corners. Does keep it very clean. Let's see how he navigates going on to the first DRS straight. Oh, a bit of a wobble from the Haas there as he gets on the throttle a bit early. Car complaining. You're just waiting for here. There's a very slight kink in that straight there. It's not really much of a corner at all, but you don't want to scrub too much speed as we see him navigate through the tricky second sector here. The tyres locking up as he goes a bit wide out of that corner there, but he is going to keep it going. Does very well, keeps it all within the lines as he comes up to one of my favourite corners here. You can take so much of the inside if you're feeling brave, but obviously there is the concrete barriers there as he clobbers the curb on the left-hand side as well. Be careful not to lose the car. Let's see how he navigates the hairpin here, gets it stopped, just clips the curb ever so slightly. The car kicking out the back there as he's desperate to get on throttle. As we look at that, a tilted angle there. Will he invalidate coming around here? Touches the curb. Oh, the car snapping on him. He does try and get it pointing in the straight line. Vibora really fighting his Haas here, but he is still keeping it in one direction. We'll see how he goes over the last couple of corners here. Takes the curbs perfectly for rotation. Oh, he's going to clobber the wall as well. Will keep it going. Kept the tyres safe. Doesn't invalidate. And the Haas crosses the line with a 1:31.4. We'll see what he can do later on if I thing appears to be working there. There we go. Perfect game with no bugs whatsoever. Let's see how Musty is getting on there. Musty, I think, has abandoned. Let's have a look. I think Baz might be on a lap as well. We'll check in on Baz here as he goes very wide. No, I think Baz is just setting up for a lap at the moment, or he's deciding not to use his battery. Bosch there set a 1:30.0. Scarborough also set a 1:28.5. Having a look and see if anyone else is out on a lap. Kev, I think, is... let's see if FatBoySim actually might be starting a lap. So we're going to go on board. Oh, he's invalidated. He has invalidated, so he's going to abandon. Look to... as he might have enough to go again. I might not have enough fuel to go again. We'll see how he does. I'm going to check in. Arwen, I think, is actually on a lap. So is a potential favourite for pole here. He's just starting his lap. Took a lot of curb there. Very confident. And that was a Aston Martin getting out of the way there. Just trying not to get in Arwen's way as we see him just using so much confidence there. Tesco improves to a 1:27.9. First of the cars into the 27s. Both Mercedes going out early, looking to set down a benchmark. Musty did improve to 1:28.9. Excuse me, I did miss that as we are watching Arwen go. Boy, looks like he's at a purple sector 1 there. I'm just keeping an eye out. Baz, I think, is going to be coming into the pits now, or that's an Alpine. We'll see. Skarma has retired with the 1:28.5. He says nobody is going to get any close to that, although there are a couple of cars still yet to go out on track who I think might be able to compete, but he'll probably be safer to be 2 knockout spaces at the moment. 2 drivers who will be knocked out as we watch Arwen navigate his way around now. Tidy lap from Arwen so far. No real sort of complaints. He's not pushing it too hard, but he is... Oh, I tell you what, he took a lot of curb there. He does keep it valid. I was going to say he was keeping it not quite on the limit, but I tell you what, he is absolutely throwing that car around in some of these corners. Very confident from the Red Bull driver. I suspect any time he sets here will be more than enough to get him through to the next session. We're going to see him round through the final couple of corners now. Arwen rounds. Can he displace Tesco at number 1 of the body? Doesn't it? It's a 28.5 from Arwen. I still looked like he had 2 purple sectors, but apparently not enough. I'm going to go and see FatBoySim is on a lap. I'm going to go on the TV pod here and see where he can go. Again, another favourite for pole position. Last time I checked, he was the quickest on the time trial board, and it's a purple sector 1 from FatBoySim. Look how smooth that car is there. Absolutely no complaining from the Ferrari at all. He just thinks and it turns from FatBoySim. He was impervious in Spa, and I think he's going to be fighting for another win here today. I'd be curious to see how he sets himself up for the hairpin here. Musty there retires on a 1:28.9. He thinks that's enough. That was beautiful rotation there. He's actually on the medium tires. Sorry, Arwen was on the medium tires. That's why he is 6/10 off. Chubby Slug sets a 28.8 there. So he has set his time. Yeah, he's on the softs. FatBoySim on the mediums. We'll see where he can put it. So I didn't think to check if Arwen was on the medium tire there. Baz, I think, is still going around. Pretty much everybody's out at the moment. Tesco at the top of the tires. He thinks he's got enough. We'll see FatBoySim round the corner here. Where can he put it on the medium tires? He puts it P2 at 28.1 from FatBoySim. Very, very, very strong time on mediums. I'm going to check on board with Rob here, a driver who's on the soft tires at the moment. Could be a dark horse for pole here. You know, Rob has been pretty solidly consistent this season. I think he's leading the championship at the moment by a handful of points over Lucullus. You can see Rob's actually got Chiv for company in the background there, so we'll see what he can do. His teammate getting out of the way of the 2-time P0 champion there. As we have a look where we are, Vibora's out at the moment, Baz is out, Dale is out, plenty of drivers out at the moment, or unless it's, yeah, there's a couple of drivers who have retired as well. Michelando there, I think, is just getting ready to go into the pits. We see Rob cross the line, set a 28.3 on the soft tires. Very solid indeed. That's Chiv who improved to a 28.1. Oh, excuse me. Let's see where we are. Pace is in the pits. Vibora is just going around now. I think he's going to be setting up, or he's about to... Oh, sorry, he's on his out lap. Excuse me. We're going to check in. Let's have a look who we can have a look at. I think Bosch is out at the moment. Bosch is invalidated. Mr. CD just coming into the pits. Vibora, we're going to see go around. I think Chubby Slug's just coming into the pits as well. I'm going to see if... I think Baz might be on a lap as we watch Vibora start to see if he can improve. Baz has invalidated. Dale is out, and Dale is flying at the moment. So we'll see what Dale can do, see if he can get himself a bit more comfortably up there. I don't think anyone else has set a time. Pace has just come out of the pits in the V-car. Lucullus and Michelando still yet to set a time. So there's an Aston Martin quite a ways off there. I think that was Rob actually just getting out of the way. It looked like he might have gone off, unless that is Kev, who might actually be on a flying lap as well. I'm just going to check if Kev is on a flat. I think Kev is just getting ready for a lap as well, as you watch Dale sort of hurl his car around that corner there. It's such a tricky corner, that corner. Forgive me, I'm not sure the quarter number, but the car, like, it almost like understeers out a little bit, and it's actually really harsh on the invalidation. Baz there did improve to a 1:29.1, puts him P11. Dale comes into the pits. He has decided not to finish his lap. We'll check in with Vibora here, who is still going. Lucullus on his outlap there, getting out of the way. No, Vibora, I think, is just going to be... Not sure if he's on a lap at the moment. I think he's just... Yeah, he's just getting ready for another lap. So let's have a look. Mr. Cd's come out. Pace has come out. Michelando and Lucullus there as well. So Lucullus, as we can see, I want to check where Pace was, because Pace did come out of the pits. He's right at the back there. Aston Martin getting out of the way. Let's see who is out on a lap at the moment. I think Kev might be going around at the moment. We'll check in on Kev. Kev, I think, is flying. Look at him hurl the car through there. Brilliant, brilliant angle there as the car leans the body roll ever so slightly. Chubby Slug out there on an outlap as well. So we're going to watch him go. FatBoySim retires in P2 on the medium tyres. He thinks he is safe. Bosch there jumps up to a 1:28.9, displaces Baz for P11. Again, with 3 drivers still yet to set a competitive time. Pace has started his lap, so we may go on board with him in just a minute. Mr. CD is out at the moment, and I think, yeah, everyone else is either out on outlaps or on in the pits or has retired. Vibora, I think, is going around, as you can see in the top of the minimap there, but we're going to stay on board with Kev as he comes flying around. These 2 Mercedes drivers are just absolutely brilliant at hurling a car around a track. They really are. Lucullus starts his lap, as does Michelando. So the 3 drivers at the bottom there who have still yet to set a time. We will see where they put themselves. At the moment, Mr. CD and Vibora seem to be the ones at risk. Mr. CD is going to just come around and start his lap in a minute. Vibora is currently on a lap as well. Both drivers need to find a little bit of time. You can find a lot of time in Singapore. There is a lot of time to be found in these corners, as we see Kev around the corner improves to a 1:28.3, should put him comfortably safe. Very solid time there. We're going to go on board with Pace here in the V-car. Always a bit of a dark horse. Got a sprint win this season. Got a couple of podiums as well. Precisely, Kowalski. I was just mentioning you in the interesting as well, as we see Pace clip a little bit of the curb on the inside. Washes a bit wide, but puts a 28.5. Solid time from him there. I'm going to go on board with Lucullus. Again, another driver who is in contention for pole. Any driver on a controller who puts it in and around pole position around Singapore is mightily impressive. Vibora comes into the pits. He was not able to improve, and I suspect he might not have time to go out again. He might just squeeze it. Mr. CD is also going around at the moment. I think he's behind these trains, so we'll see Lucullus as he goes through. Michelando as well, see where he puts it. Of course, either drivers here, if Lucullus or Michelando invalidates, they are putting themselves at risk of, well, they would be knocked out, I should say. Lucullus does go very wide, but puts a 1:27.9. Very solid time from him there. Michelando puts it P9 there. We'll see where Mr. CD is as he comes around the corner. Does he have enough to improve? Clips the curb, car rotates on him a little bit. We'll see Mr. CD currently in the danger zone at the moment. Does he have enough to put himself into Q2 as he rounds the final corner now? Mr. CD improves to a 1:30.1. Not enough. Mr. CD, as it stands, is out, and I think Vibora might be as well. I think Baz has just gone out at the moment. I decided to see Chubby Slug, I think, is going to round the corner now. He stays with a 1:28.7. Doesn't necessarily need to improve. That'll be Pace coming around as well. That's Kev. I think Dale maybe went out, or was that Arwen? No, it was Arwen who went out. Not that I think he needs to improve either. Vibora is going to go out. I think he might be pushed for time. I can't actually tell how much is left in the session because of the very helpful yellow flag there as the Mercedes comes in the pit. 2 minutes. I tell you what, Vibora might have enough. I think Mr. CD might have gone around again. No, Mr. CD is not flying at the moment. He might have enough. I tell you what, he has enough fuel and enough battery to go again. So this isn't over. This isn't over by any stretch. Excuse me. So Baz is going around in his lap at the moment. Bosch is in the pit. He doesn't have a chance to go out again. He is out no matter what. Vibora is out on an outlap. We'll check in on Baz and see where he is at the moment. Dale is also on an outlap. I think he's going to be really hard pushed. So Bosch has come out. Dale and Bosch, in 13th and 14th there, have come out. I think they're going to be really hard pressed to get it chucked around in time. I tell you, Baz is the car who is going to be in the danger zone at the moment, who is currently out at the moment. Mr. CD is warming up to go again. Vibora is out on an outlap, and then as you can see, Dale and Bosch are both hurling their way through Sector 2. It's going to be really close to see if they get to the line. No, sorry, that's not Dale, excuse me. So Dale has just started his lap. I think that was Arwin behind Bosch, actually. So Dale has just started. Bosch is still going around. We'll see where Baz puts it. Mr. Seedy, I think, has started his lap. Vibora is coming around to start his lap as well. He'll come out in time. I don't know why Arwin's out at the moment. That must be, I have to say. We see where Baz is going at the moment. Gets on the battery early. I tell you what, Baz is desperate to put himself in breathing space. He's 2/10 away from Bosch, who, again, might be able to make the flag in time. We'll see what Baz does. Doesn't invalidate. Takes a lot of curb. Probably gained a bit of time there, has to be said. You'll see Baz in the Williams. His teammate's not with him today. Can Baz put himself any further up? He goes P11. It's 28.5. Puts Musty, who has retired, at risk. We're going to check in on Mr. Seedy, who is flying around at the moment. Vibora as well. There's 15 seconds to the flag. Mr. Seedy's who I want to watch now as well. We're going to also check on Dale. Watch him in the bottom left there. I think he's going to be rounding the corner in either just a moment. Bosch did cross the line in time. Dale there is, I think, going to be coming around in just a minute. I'm going to check him. The flag is out, so these drivers need to set their laps now. Dale is going around, and he is flying, so we'll see if Dale can put himself safe. I want to go back on board with Mr. Seedy as Dale invalidates. Dale, just as I went off him there, invalidated, cut the curb too much. Mr. Seedy has a chance here to put himself potentially safe. We'll see what he can do. Can he improve on his time of a 130.1? Mr. Seedy with the DRS open crosses the lines at 129.8. It's not enough for Mr. Seedy. He's out. Vibora has also invalidated. And Vibora in the Haas is out as well. The Alpine and the Haas both knocked out in Q1. Heartbreak for them. They were not able to do it. And Bosch, who managed to cross the line there with, I think that was about 5 or 6 seconds left, is safe right on the precipice there. I think he might finish his lap anyway, just for the sake of pride. We'll see him as he goes around. Baz there, as we said, improved up to P11, kept him safe as well. And that is Q1 done. Very unfortunate for both drivers there. Singapore is a very difficult track to go around. Very easy to invalidate as well. We'll see the kick driver now as he goes around and sets his time. Can he put himself any further up? For the sake of pride, Bosch crosses the line to P7, 28.4. That's a mighty improvement there. It was probably about 6/10 improvement. Then Arwin did actually improve on the mediums there to a 28.5 as well. Just wanted to spin around on the mediums, go for a bit of a drive, presumably. So Dale in 15th is safe there, invalidated on his flying lap, but didn't need to do it in the end. Mr. Seedy improved, but didn't improve enough. And Vibora, right at the death there, invalidated on his flying lap. So we're through to Q2. 2 drivers out in Q1, as we say, 17 running. Q2 now, we will see which 10 drivers will make their way through to the pole shootout. As we see that, Lucalis, FatBoySim, 2 drivers to, I think, in contention. Arwin, I think, will be in for a sniff of pole. I don't think Arwin showed his full hand, but the fact that Cleon there, FatBoySim, is what, that was about 2/10, I think, off of the soft tire. Yeah, look at that. FatBoySim, 2/10 off of Lucalis, who's also a favourite for pole, on the medium tire. FatBoySim could have another Spa performance here. We will see. 6/10 off Arwin on the medium tire, which I think is a bit closer to what I expect the delta to be on the soft to medium. But we will see. Seeing a lot of flags. I'm loving the flags here. Look at that. Scottish flags, Welsh flags, English flags, Dutch flags there, Hungarian. That's the flag of Ghana, I believe. Spain. Love it. It's an international league, lads. International. Right, I'm refilling on beverage. I tell you what, all this commentary work, I enjoy it. It's probably a little bit silly. My partner thinks it's silly anyway, in like a good way. It's thirsty work, man. It gets the old throat workout going, which sounds worse than I intended it to be. But anyway, we'll move on. We're in Q2. 15 minutes, 10 drivers to go through, 5 to get knocked out. Skies look absolutely clear. No risk of rain as it stands in Q2. Obviously, the drivers will know the forecast if there's a risk of rain in Q3. I won't know, unfortunately, until we get to it. I find out at the exact same time as you. That looks like a Mercedes driver getting ready to come out. I think both of them are getting ready to come out. And an Aston Martin as well. Who will be the first on board? I think it'll be the Aston Martin. Will be the first we go on board with. I'm not sure if that's Rob or Mika Lando. I won't be able to find out to the end of the pits. But yeah, both Mercedes are out. One Ferrari's come out. Both Ferraris are out. So that's FatBoySim and Chubby Slug. That was a V-carb there Dale is also coming out, as you can see in the bottom of your picture there. And that, I think, was Michelando coming out of the pits. It was Michelando. So, one of our Welsh drivers drives with the Welsh flag. We will be on board with the Aston Martin as, he goes around and sets his first lap and see where he goes, unless he is overtaken by one of the Mercedes duo. Lots of cars coming out here. Long track here, so you have got time to do 2 laps. I expect a lot of drivers will probably go out on worn softs at the moment. I think a couple drivers might go out if they've... FatBoySim and Arwen might do a double soft, and they might try and keep a soft. I don't know how competitive the soft is in the race. Tyre deck here, if I remember correctly, is actually quite aggressive. I could see... I think there's a genuine chance some drivers might do a 2-stop here. The softs, I think the hards actually degrade quite quickly. I tell you what, that Mercedes is right on the back of Michelando. We could see a swap here for who will be on board with at the start. And that's 13 drivers. Rob and Arwen are the only ones in the pits. They are not going out at the moment. So we'll see what this Mercedes driver does. The Mercedes drivers is going to go for a pass. So we're going to go on board with Tesco instead and see how he can do. Put it P3 in Spa, I believe off the top of my head, or right up there in the first couple of rows, was leading after the red flag. Let's see where he can put his car in Q2. This isn't the one for the final finishing order, but you need a solid time here to give yourself a chance for the pole shootout. Goes all the way over, uses as much curb as he thinks he can get away with. He used so much curb on the inside there. I'm going to check. He did keep it within the white lines, and he is driving very aggressively here. Look at this. All the way over to the left-hand side. You see the car lean as he throws it in. The car just sticks. Super high downforce here. As you see Michelando in the background, I think he might have invalidated, or he's going for a double warm-up. But we're going to go on board with Tesco. Let's see how he navigates this middle sector here, using all of the curb to control the car. Just sweeps it over to the left-hand side. Doesn't want to invalidate by going too wide here. You can clip the wall. Look how close his rear tyre was there to the concrete barrier. We'll see how he navigates the old sling. Uses a lot of curb. That's the line that I like to take because you can gain so much time there without invalidating. You can invalidate as he nearly puts himself into the wall there, taking that inside curb. Takes the chicane very nicely. Uses the curb on the inside to rotate. Curb is very important in Singapore. Some of them will spit you out. Some of them can help you rotate the car, as is the nature of a street circuit. Let's see how he navigates here. Breaks at the 70-meter board. Does he go wide there? He keeps it just in the white lines. I mean, barely in the white lines there. I just had to check again. As we see him go down this final straight, you're dumping all the battery you have because there's no DRS here. You can use a lot of the curb on the inside, and he does. Don't use too much on the other side there, as it'll rotate the car. Don't go wide to invalidate there, and you are pretty much flat through the final corner there. Don't brush too wide on the white line. We'll see Tesco cross the line. Sets a 28.2. Solid time, but I'm pretty sure we had drivers into the 27s in the last session. I might have just forgotten, or it was the 28s. I'm not sure, but it was a very solid lap time. It was the 7s because FatBoySim said a 27.2. So Tesco could have been on the old tyres there. I'm having a look at who is going around at the moment. Skarma's right at the back of this train, so we'll watch him. Baz sets a 29.4 there. Chubby Slug with a 29.3. Bosch splits the drivers with a 29.3 as well. Dale sets a 28.3. Solid time from him as well. I'm going to watch Skarma as he goes through the last couple of corners. We see drivers cross the line. Now, Michelando, I think, is just going to start, or he's, Michelando's coming to the pits. Rob is starting his lap time there. Musty sets a 47.8. He's going for a double warm-up. Skarma ran out of deployment, sets a 28.0. FatBoySim is an absolute eon ahead of these other drivers. Brilliant lap from him. My goodness me. I tell you what, I thought Tesco's time was pretty good. Chivs has a 28.4. We'll see where Lucalis puts it. It's a 28.2, a second of FatBoySim. My God, if FatBoySim could be on the fresh softs and everyone else is unused. I'm not sure. We're going to check on Rob here. He is going around. Kev is also going around. I'm actually going to check on him as well. He's having to navigate a lot of traffic. Arwen is also on an outlap. I think it's who he just passed. Or Arwen's coming up behind Bosch at the moment. So Musty is also going to be on a lap as well, I'd imagine. Having a look at it. Yeah, Musty's also on a lap, so we'll check in on him in a minute. I'm going to go back to Kev here as he goes through the final sector. We'll see what he can do. Light flashing there shows that he is below 10%. Just checking the steering wheel. He has used all of his deployment. He'll have felt that going down that final back straight here, but he's going to go around the corner. I expect a solid time from Kev here. Where's he going to put it? If he keeps it within the lines, he does. He rounds the final corner. It's a 29.0 from Kev. May have to go again. I'm going to check in on Rob as he rounds the final corner now, and then we'll check in on Musty as well, who I think is going. Rob comes around, doesn't invalidate, puts a 28.2. Musty also rounding the final corner. Let's see what the Alpine driver can do. It's a 28.6 from Musty there. So, Arwin is just going to be starting his lap now. I'm just having a look and see. Is anyone else at the moment? Baz is coming to the pits. Chiv, I think, is going to be coming to the pits. So Arwen's the one to look out for now. So we have 8 minutes left of the session. There is Arwen. And he is starting his lap. In fact, I'm going to let the Red Bulls sing here as you watch his lap. It's a 27.7 from Arwen there. That was a flying last sector there from the Red Bull driver. Very impressive indeed. I tell you what, though, a couple of drivers have been knocking that wall, haven't they? That right-hand wall right on the exit of the last chicane, around where Michelando is there. That wall there with the Lenovo lineage there, signage, excuse me. Seen a couple of drivers touch that. Of course, in this game, you can get tyre wear from touching walls, even punctures. So I wonder if that will come into play. Pace, in the meantime, set at 29.1 as well. We didn't see him go around and set his lap time, so he will need to go out again, or he is at risk, as Vibora looks like he's had a disconnect. We'll see Michelando to the car around at the moment. Michelando this season has set his car right up at the top couple of rows a couple of times, so we'll see what he can do here in Singapore. Tesco is also starting again. I think he wants to try and improve his time. As we check, Chubby Slug is also going out again. He obviously needs to improve. Both Mercedes have come out. But we're going to watch Michelando as he goes around now. Takes a lot of curb there. And we'll see how he navigates here. Does he take a lot of the inside curb here? No, he keeps it. Well, he took a fair bit of it, actually, in fairness. You can take a bit more there, depending on how brave you're feeling. But if you get it wrong, you will lose a wheel on the concrete barrier. As we see him navigate one of the hardest corners is that hairpin there. It's so difficult to keep any sort of momentum through there. As we see, pick your braking point here. Does very well. Don't validate. As he navigates the last couple of corners. As he rounds the final corner here, what can he do? As he crosses the line, DRS open. It is a 1:27.9. A very strong time him from there. Apologies, I was just checking the chat here. I think we might have lost Vibora for the race. I will check in on that at the end of qualifying, which would be very unfortunate, of course, which will drop us down to 16 drivers. But we will see. Bosch is out on his outlap. I think I want to check in on Pace. It's probably my next one to check in now. We'll see how he can do. He is currently P12. He's in the danger zone, if you can call it that, at the moment. Chubby Slug is also ahead of him. In fact, Chubby Slug's invalidated, excuse me. So Chubby Slug has invalidated. He will have time to box in again or recharge and go again. 4 minutes, 45 seconds left. So, you know, drivers who are out on the track now either need to set themselves a proper lap time now or pit in for fresh tyres. We'll see. Bosch has also started his lap at the moment. Baz there in P15 will wait probably till the end to go out. Musty is on an out lap behind Pace here, so we'll check in on how the Hungarian driver does as we see Pace, our Dutch representative in P0, rounds the final corner, now keeps it within the white lines. Pace improves to P3, 27.8. Very solid time from him there. Chubby Slug actually pitted, so he will have time to go out and put a fresh pair of softs on as it stands. Bosch here, who was very close to being knocked out, improved up to P7, I think it was in the end, as we see Baz down there in P15 go out. Kev, who's also at risk, is currently out at the moment. I think he might be on a flying lap ahead of these guys at the moment. I think that might be Tesco going slowly. We'll see. Chiv and Luke have gone out. Obviously, they are close to knockout at the moment. I expect pretty much every driver, except for FatBoySim, who obviously retired, to go out and try and improve their time. We'll see what Bosch does as he rounds into the final sector here. Keep an eye on those two Mercedes drivers ahead as well. See what they do. As we have a look, I'm trying to see who else is out at the moment. Pace will be rounding his way to come into the pits. I think he will be safe. Kev there improves to a 27.7. Tesco to a 27.3. We'll see Bosch cross the line to a 28.2. Safe for now. Puts Chiv down in the danger zone as well. Musty is out on a lap at the moment. We'll check in on the Alpine driver as he's coming through Sector 2 now. That is a McLaren just getting ready for his lap time to start his last flying lap at the moment as well. So both Mercedes have put themselves in a very solid position. Arwen has gone again. He thinks he might be at risk. Pace will come into the pits. He won't have time to go again. Michelando and Scarver are both at the pits. They very well might come out in just a few minutes. Bosch has set his time. He won't have a chance to go again unless he's got enough fuel to recharge. We're going to watch the Alpine driver here and see if he is able to put himself out of the knockout zone. Musty rounds to P11, 28.3, and unless he has fuel to recharge and go again, it will be P11 at best. Chiv starts his lap. A driver who we expect to be in the fight for Q3, currently in the knockout zone. We see, I think, almost every driver out of the pits here, except for Pace and FatBoySim. So, we'll see. It's going to be a bit of a battle at the death here. Lucalis has also started his lap in P10, currently safe, but we think he'll go up a bit further. Chiv having to navigate a lot of traffic, but he seems to be doing okay. As we have a look, Baz is currently on a lap behind Chiv as well. Baz down there in P15. Scarver's just trying, as you can see, just tugging onto the back of Chiv there to try and get around in time. I think that is Dale, who is out at the moment. Arwen's also out at the moment. I tell you what, there's a yellow flag here for a car that has stopped. I think that was a Red Bull getting out of the way. At least I hope so. Yeah, it's Arwen just getting out of the way of these drivers, being careful not to invalidate, disqualify himself, I should say. So he's just trying to keep out of everyone's way at the moment. Chiv there is absolutely hurling his car around. Is he going to do enough? All drivers have kept it pretty clean. Not too many invalidates so far. Chubby Slug has rounded the corner to start his flying lap. Kev up there in P4 is retired. He thinks he's done enough. As they Pace and Bosch in the pits there won't have a chance to go again. I think Baz is going to be the next driver to go on board with. I think that might be Musty who's going as well. So we'll see. Chiv improves to P8, 28.1 at best for. It'll be 8th at best for him. Baz improves to P14. Unfortunate for Baz. Lucalis has invalidated. Lucalis in P11 has invalidated. And the big shock here is a driver in contention for the title. A driver in contention for pole is out in Q2. Big drama. In fact, Musty there is flying around. He's had time and enough fuel to go again. But that's the big shock. Lucalis is P11 at best. But Musty is out. Dale is out. All on laps. Baz at P14 won't improve unless he's got a chance to go again. Chubby Slug is also out at the moment. And I think they're all improving. This is going to be a big upset here. The last couple of races, we've had a big name go out in the knockout qualifying. And it's Lucalis. Oh, it's a big hit into the wall from Musty. He's had to abandon. He is going to be P12 at best. That was a big hit there. Dale there is at a 28.3. I think he just got to the flag in time. He is going to try and go again. He doesn't have any battery left. Chubby Slug, I think, is going to round the corner there. He's up to P8. So Rob is at risk here. Where is Rob? Rob is out at the moment. He is flying. So Rob, will he also get knocked out? He just needs to get a competitive lap time in here and not invalidate. He washes a bit wide. I thought he was going to invalidate there. My goodness me. Bosch takes a flag in P10. Has he done enough? As you say, Rob is going to be the one to potentially knock him out. I think that was another driver jumping up to another position there in the middle of the track there. Chiv just coming in the pits. We'll see Rob as he runs the final corner here. Has he done enough to get himself into Q3? Rob puts it P3, knocks Bosch out in P11. Unfortunate for him. Let's see if any of the other drivers. Musty is going around now. He is going to try. No, I don't think Musty has had enough. No, and Dale as well. Who is throwing his car around. He is still... no, he's out of fuel, excuse me. Dale there, as you can see in the bottom right there, has run out of fuel, and Dale is out. There it is, the big shock. Lucalis, P12 here in Singapore, invalidated at the very end, and is out in Q2, joining Bosch in P11, Musty in P13, Dale in P14, and then Baz down there in P15 wasn't able to improve on his time. My goodness, it's always a shock, isn't there? There's always a shock in P0. It was Skarma last week, wasn't it? Big drama. So, FatBoySim there was a 10th up on... I tell you what, Tesco did improve to a 27.3. I think he was probably on old tyres. Potentially with Rob as well. He's gone up to a 27.5 and 27.6. So, my surprise at the top there, I think FatBoySim went out on fresh softs at the very beginning. Tesco here could be a dark horse for pole position. I didn't think he was going to be in contention at the beginning. But he has gone right up there with FatBoySim. But I tell you what, if FatBoySim did do that time on worn softs, then it is going to be a very easy race for the Welsh driver. We will see. We will see. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Q3. This one's going to be a stormer, I reckon. A lot of drivers there. Rob, Tesco, Arwen, FatBoySim, all definitely in contention for a pole position. I think Pace has a bit of time in hand. I think Skarma's got a bit of time in hand. I think Michelando probably has a bit of time in hand, excuse me. But this is the one that matters for all the marbles. Q3 in the nighttime, under the stars in Singapore. We'll say 12 minutes. These drivers will have 2 laps. Again, I expect drivers to probably do worn softs, fresh softs, but some drivers who will be right up there for pole will probably use 2 fresh softs to try and just... Oh, excuse me. To try and just get themselves the best chance possible of a pole position. Who's the first car to come out? It's a Mercedes there. That was Tesco. And I think that was Arwen. Yeah, it must be Arwen in the Red Bull who have all come out. These drivers want to set their lap times early. So we watched Tesco and we watched Arwen go around, didn't we? So we'll keep on board with that Ferrari driver, I think. That was Chubby Slug. So, OTL Chubby Slug in the Ferrari. Like I said, I like to go on board with... no, it would be Arwen, actually. Excuse me. Arwen, who we went on board with at the very beginning there. I like to go on board with drivers who, you know, go out early. In fact, you know what? We watched Arwen go on board when I let the engine sing a bit. So we'll go on board with Chubby Slug and watch him. But yeah, a lot more drivers coming out of the pits there. There's the other Ferrari, FatBoySim, who has come out. That's Michelando, who's come out as well. And that'll be one of the V-carbs of Skarma, that is, down there. Along with FatBoySim, he's just come out of the pits. So that leaves Chiv, Pace, and Rob all in the pits. Pace has just come out, actually. So Chiv and Rob will either wait a minute for a bit more free air, or they will only do 1 flying lap. We will see. So you can see Kev behind Chubby Slug there, the other Mercedes driver, just warming his tyres. Been mightily improved so far this season. Kev was down there fighting for the lower points in Portugal, and he's a consistent Q3 you know, member at the moment. him and that Mercedes duo of Tesco, they have a one to watch for sure. Tesco's had a pretty unfortunate start of the season, a couple of retirements, a couple of spins, but has definitely got some pace in him. So I expect a couple more solid point scoring position from at least one of the Mercedes, probably a race win at some point as well this season. But as we see, Tesco's going to round the corner and start now, as is R1. I'm going to stay on board with Chubby Slug, and we're going to watch him go around here, our Ferrari driver, as he starts down DRS open on the pit straight here. As you enter the first three corners, you can go as far wide on the curb as you see him there. Clip the curb on the right hand side, cut as much as you can into T2. Watch you don't wash wide of T3, and then you set yourself up for T4. Arwen has already sort of got out of the way, so he's either invalidated or he's doing a double warm-up. You can hit the wall there, but Chubby Slug keeps it very neat and tidy. There's basically a half turn here. There's basically a tiny kink as you go down this DRS zone, and then you enter this tricky, as I say, sort of slow sort of sector 2 area where it's really easy to wash wide. A lot of slow sort of acute sort of angular corners, if you will, for lack of a better word. You really need to get the car placed in the right sort of part of the track to throw the car in, minimize the corner, carry as much speed possible as you can, and Chubby Slug did that very nicely. We see him go through the old sling here, car washes wide. You want to get all the way over to the left and then very quickly over to the right, cut a lot of the curb there, keep the car flat as you go into this hairpin section here. You want to turn in early, use a little bit of the curb, get on power as soon as you can without washing too wide or hitting the wall. DRS open, use a blast to the battery, get all the way over to the left hand side, brake at 75 meters. You can use the curb for rotation, don't wash too wide because you can invalidate on the white line. You're going to dump whatever battery you have left down this sort of mini straight here. No DRS, as we said before. Just pick your braking point for the final chicane. Use a lot of the curb on the inside. Use very little on the exit there just to rotate the car. Don't hit the wall on the outside as Chubby Slug nearly did as he rounds the final corner. Don't wash too wide and invalidate. Chubby Slug sets a 28.5 there, but Tesco set a 27.3. Brilliant time there, but I suspect still a ways off of FatBoySim. Kev is going to next cross the line. He's going to start his lap now. Michelando, I think, as well. FatBoySim's who I want to go on board with here as he rounds the final corner. What is FatBoySim going to do? It's a 27.0 from FatBoySim. Brilliant time from him. Rob is flying as well. Armin is just going to start his lap at the moment. I think he didn't invalidate. I think he just wanted a second warm-up lap. Chiv has also come out on his out lap. He should have time potentially to pit in again. We'll see. Everyone else, I think, will either go again. Pace sets a 28.7. P6, couple of tenths off of Chubby Slug there, but he will have time to pit in and go again. Of course, Chiv, as you can see, will be starting his lap, but I'm going to stay on board with Rob here and see what he can do, and then we'll check in on Kev as well, who took 2 warm-up laps, and see where the Mercedes drivers puts it. So, at the moment, it's between FatBoySim and Tesco, but Rob could very well be in contention. Arwen, I expect, to be right up there as well. We'll see what Rob does as he rounds the final corner. It's a 28.0 from Rob there. Puts him a few tenths ahead of Skarma. Kev now is going around at the moment as he is still flying. He's dumping whatever battery he has left, and then we'll go and check in on Arwen as well and see how he is doing. Though I suspect if Arwen takes the flag, I think he's going to be a bit hard-pressed to get around, pit in, and go again. We'll see Kev, as we see him around the final corner. He's used all of his battery. Kev puts it up to P8, 29.2. For Kev there, what is that, about 5 tenths off of pace, but obviously had to go again, so we expect to see him improve. Arwen is going around the final corner at the moment. Where can the Red Bull driver put it? As he uses a lot of curb there, just keeps it in the lines to 27.7, just a few hundredths off of Tesco there, who is looking mighty favourite here to be in contention for a pole. But I tell you what, he's going to have to do a lot of work to displace FatBoySim up there, who's put more about a tenth and a half, I should say, on Tesco. Both drivers still yet to do their final sort of last gasp, flying run, fresh tyres, all the fuel out, and everything in between. I'm going to watch and see what Chiv does here as he rounds the final couple of corners. I think he's going to be a bit hard-pressed to set another lap time, so we'll see what he can do as he brushes a little bit wide again. It's P4, 28.0 from Chiv. Very solid lap time from him. Maybe his only lap time. I think that is Kev, who's just coming in to the pits now. Michelando is in the pits. That is going to be Rob, who I think is going to be coming into the pits. He is indeed. So, every driver in the pits at the moment. Chiv is out on an in lap. He's just set his time. Hello, Chrissy Boy. Welcome in. That is going to be Kev, who is out of fuel, just limping his car home. And Arwen there as well, in a similar position. Drivers trying to take every single possible sort of metric out of the car that they can. As we see everybody navigate their way around. As I check. There we are. I need to get rid of that notification. There we go. Right. Let's see. It's, yeah, Arwen comes in. Kev comes in. Chiv will be coming around as well. Chiv, do you know what? He might have time. It's going to be pretty close. It's going to be pretty close. But he might have enough time. We'll see. Who is going to be the first of the drivers to pull the trigger? To go out first and set their final flying lap. FatBoySim is on provisional pole by 1.5 tenths at the moment. Tesco there in P2, and the Mercedes driver looking mighty feisty as well. Arwen just a few hundredths off him in P3. Chiv, who's just coming in the pits now, is 8 tenths behind Arwen in P3 there. That's the gap for those fighting for pole at the moment, and that is a Ferrari, a FatBoySim, who has pulled the trigger first, and I am going to want to be on board for that. And tell you what, actually a load of drivers have come out and pulled the trigger to come out. I think that actually might be one of the V-Cups who squeezed out in front of him. Rob there in P5, also in the 128.0. Skarma a few tenths behind there, very close with Michelando. Then Choey Slug and Pace a few tenths behind them, and then Kev 5 tenths down on Pace. I expect he's got a lot more time in pocket. FatBoySim is almost certainly the car I'm going to want to be on board with here. I do think he is favourite for pole, although I may have just given him the commentator's curse. We will see. So that is Pace, who's actually gone out first. So Pace has gone out. Then it'd be Michelando, and then it'll be FatBoySim. But FatBoySim's who I want to go on board with. I want to see how he does. And then it'll be Tesco is still in the pits. So we'll watch FatBoySim go around, and then we'll see what Tesco can do. Arwen is also out on an out lap, so we'll see. Actually, yeah, I'll do FatBoySim, and then I'll check it on Arwen, and I'll check it on Tesco, who's probably coming out in just a few minutes. Rob, Chiv, and Tesco still in the pits. I think it's less than 3 minutes left, so drivers probably need to start about getting a move on. But yeah, we see. So Pace will cross the line first. That is Rob in the Aston Martin. He's come out. 2 minutes, 26 seconds left. So 2 drivers still in the pits. Pace will set us off first. It'll be Michelando. Then it'll be FatBoySim. Then it'll be Skarma. Then it'll be Kev. Then Chubby Slug. Then Arwen. Then Rob. Tesco's come out of the pits now. And we'll see if Chiv has time to go out again. In fact, I am going to watch Pace go around. We are going to do this in order, I reckon. Michelando will be the next one to watch, but we're going to watch Pace as he goes around. He's P9 at the moment. Can he improve on his time? We will see. Got through the first couple of corners perfectly fine. Does pretty well there. It gets the DRS open. It gets it pretty close to the wall. Has to be said, yellow flag there is just drivers trying to get out of the way. Chiv did get out in time, but it's going to be pretty close if he can get around in time. Pace uses a lot of the curb there, but keeps it within the white lines. Rotates the car in, does well not to watch too wide. You want to move all the way over again, and then you can throw the car in here. You can get really close to the wall. Look at that. It must have been centimetres in that as he brushed up against it, but kept it absolutely fine. Pace looking mighty feisty on this lap. Cuts a lot of the curb there as you need to. Doesn't lose the car. Getting set up for the hairpin. This is where you can gain quite a few tenths on the hairpin if you can get your line right. Pace navigates it very well indeed. As you can see, that's going to be Rob ahead of Pace here. He's going to encounter a bit of traffic as he navigates his way through. Cuts a lot of the curb, but keeps it perfectly safe. Could have used a bit more on exit, but we'll have to see. Pace now. He's probably going to get clear of the traffic. Should be fine. Cuts a lot of the chicane of the exit there. Does he wash wide? Keeps it fine. Doesn't touch the wall. Pace now rounds the final corner. Can he improve on his position of P9? Pace sets it P4. It's a 27.5 from him there. Mika Lando is going to be next across the line. Puts a P5, 27.6. But is FatBoySim going to improve it this time? He does. It's a 26.7. Brilliant time. Skama has invalidated. He will not improve on his time. Kev is going to be the next across the line. He jumps from P10 up to P6 as a 27.9. From Chubby Slacks as a 27.7. Tesco is going to start his lap. Now he's going to be one to watch. Chiv is also just crossed the line in just enough time. Rob is also going on his lap, so we'll see where he can go. So Arwen sets 27.2, I believe. I'm not sure if he's out. No, yeah, Arwen has, it's 27.2. It'll be P3 at best. He's invalidated at the moment. Arwen, I don't know if he'd set the 27.2 or if he invalidated on his final flying lap. So he'll start P3 at best. Tesco is the one to watch here. FatBoySim put 3/10 on his time. Put 5/10 between him and Tesco. Can Tesco and the Mercedes do enough to upset the Ferrari driver? He is going to have a bit of traffic in Sector 2, which isn't ideal. Watch at the bottom of your screen. We'll see where Rob can put his car. It's P10 for Skama because he invalidated. Heartbreak for him. Chiv also, we'll see if he can improve as well. Kev there in P7, Chubby Slug P6, Michelanda P5. As it stands, they won't have a chance to go again. Tesco, look at how he's navigating that hairpin. Oh, it's a big snap from him. Oh, it's a big snap from him. And he's surely lost pole there. Rob does improve to P4, upsets Pace there. Puts Pace down into the third row. It's a 27.4 for him. Chiv is the one to watch now, but Tesco had a big snap coming out of the hairpin and has surely cost himself a chance at pole position. He will start P2 at best unless Chiv can upset him as well. I think he is going to try and finish that. Oh, he's gotten off his battery. He's going to come into the pits, or he's going to try and finish his lap, but he's certainly not going to improve. We'll see what Chiv can do. He crosses the line, goes P4, 27.3, got a little bit of a toe from Tesco there. It's the second row for Chiv. Rob pushed down to P5, but it's FatBoySim on pole position by 0.5 of a second. Absolutely superb lap from FatBoySim. Truth be told, we won't know how close Tesco was to getting close to him, but a big snap on the hairpin lost him a chance to fight for it, but he'll start P2, his career best in P0. Arwen P3 and Shiv and P4 in the second row. Rob starts P5, still ahead of his championship rival Lucalis down in P12. Pace there in P6 as well. Mika Lando in P7. Chubby Slug in P8. Skama in P9 did actually cross the line with enough time and improve from P10 to P9, puts Kev down to P10. We saw Skama invalidate. I didn't think he had enough fuel to go again, but he did. We weren't able to watch that, but Skama just prims himself off of 10th there up to P9, but still starts on the 5th row. But that's your starting top 10. And I tell you what, I suspect FatBoySim is going to disappear. He has been absolutely brilliant in practice. He's been brilliant in time trial. 3/10 up, but you binned it. I saw it, Tesco, coming out of the hairpin. It was a snap of oversteer. I tell you what, you'd have been hard-pressed to match FatBoySim's time. Absolutely brilliant lap from FatBoySim there. He takes his second pole in a row, I believe. And breathe. Take a moment. Let the air into your lungs. Oh, the finale of Q3 is always my favourite part of qualifying. As we wait for everything to settle down and the drivers will form the grid for the race. I do love a bit of rain in Singapore. I don't know if it's wet. I really hope it's a wet race. I really hope it's a wet race. But I know we've had too many exciting sort of weather events so far this season. So, you know. We'll see. Yep, clear skies as we line up for the grids. I expect a majority of drivers will probably start on the medium. Tyre wear is quite high here. I think a medium hard is still probably your safest bet strategy-wise, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple drivers try the two-stop. It's kind of similar to Bahrain in a way. You can one-stop, like you had in Bahrain, but the tyre wear is so aggressive, and the pit lane straight's actually quite short. It's quite a short pit. You could probably get away with a two-stop, but it's so difficult to overtake here. There aren't that many overtaking opportunities, and it's really difficult to pull away from cars in this meta, as we've spoken about before, because of how powerful the battery and the DRS is. So we will see how it all navigates its way through. In the meantime, thank you all for. So I can see all of you there in the chat. Appreciate you all listening in to my ramblings as I watch, 17 guys who I've never met in person drive around a fake racetrack for an hour and a half. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I do miss the racing. I do miss racing in the league. But I'm glad to have taken a break. I'm really enjoying this. And the highlights as well are always good fun on the YouTube. And it scratches that itch. Scratches that sort of video editing itch. We are currently waiting for players. I suspect there is a possibility. I tell you what it is. I think people are just choosing their strategies is what it is. Because, of course, the last few races, a driver's been accidentally readying up straight away, which is, a post was put out about it. New people in the league, accidents happen, it's fine. But I don't get to see the formation lap until everybody is sort of, selected their things and the timer goes and everything like that. So we get this beautiful view of the pit box there. All the spare wings ready for whoever will lose it. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if we see a few broken wings. Glad I'm missing out this weekend. Welcome in, Mark. Singapore is it's really easy to invalidate. I think we're going to see like at least 3 drivers lose their wing easily. It's so, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? My little dark horse prediction here is I wouldn't be surprised if we see a puncture. Honestly, about 4 or 5 drivers I've seen have just whacked that wall at the end of Sector 3 there, that flat out last 2 corners. Not even that, sorry. It's the chicane in Sector 3. It's that little clunky chicane at the end of that mini straight. Once you exit that, a couple of drivers have just backed that sort of, right-hand wall. And you can get punctures there. So, we see the formation lap start. And as you can see up and down the grid... FatBoySim starts on pole position, 2 races in a row. Tesco there with a career best P2 in the front row with him. See who gets to the first line first. Arwen there, P3. Chiv, P4. Rob, P5. Pace there in P6. Mika Lando down there in P7, joining Chubby Slug in the 4th row. Scarba starts P9 with Kev in P10. Bosch is in a P11. Lucalis there, as we spoke about the big shock down there in P12. If I get my sort of thing, there we are. I expect Lucalis, if he can survive turn 1, will try an alternative strategy perhaps to try and get his way free. Musty there in P13, Dale P14, Baz in P15, Mr. CD in P16, and Vibora in P17, who I believe is under the control of the AI because I think he left. So Vibora's car will not score any points unless he joins us. So those are your tyres. Very eclectic choice of tyres. Mediums for the front 2 runners. Arwen on the hards. Chiv and Rob on the mediums. Pace and Michelando on the hards. Chubby Slug going for the soft tyre. The alternative strategy from the Ferrari driver. We'll see if he can make any moves. Skarma on the mediums. And then it's Kev, Bosch and Lucalis on the hards. So going to go long. Musty, Dale, Baz, Mr. CD, and then Vibora all on the mediums as well. Safety cars could very well define this race. Especially for those on perhaps a more favourable pit strategy for such. I want to check position change is going to be what I want on board once we get off of it, and interval is fine. But I'm going to get rid of all of this so we can watch the start as they just make their way through Sector 3. It's a very short run from pole to the front, so I expect FatBoySim to keep the lead over Tesco unless he gets an awful start. The question is he going to be able to shake Tesco, or is there going to be an absolute bout for the lead? Arwen on the hard tyres will probably fall out of DRS ever so slightly, especially in the middle sector, but will go long. As long as he can keep in touching distance with them, he could be competitive in the pit stop stage. But we're going to see the drivers come around the final corner as they look to find their starting position, not their pit position. I'm talking absolute bollocks again, as we see FatBoySim line up just ever so slightly putting his car to the left to block off Tesco there, as we see Arwen creak his way up in the bottom of your screen there. This is going to be our angle. This is going to be a brilliant angle to see how good these drivers get their start. The green flags are waving. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are go in Singapore. FatBoySim got a good start. Tesco got a pretty decent start. Look at the Aston Martin flying down the inside there. Chubby Slug also looks to go up the inside. He just backs out of it. FatBoySim keeps his position. Chiv moves up to P3. Rob up to P4. Pace up to P5. Skarma, so Lucalis has gone all the way down to the bottom of the grid there. Something's happened to Lucalis. I'm not sure if he got pushed out or he had some sort of, issue, but it's just gotten from bad to worse for Lucalis there. Pace up to P5. Lando up there, Chubby Slug as well. Arwen has fallen loads of positions. Excuse me, that's why they've all gained. Arwen has gone. Oh, look at that! There's a big crash at the back there. Baz is out. My goodness me, it's a VSC. You would have caught that in the background there. Arwen has picked up a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Baz. I went on board there. You saw Baz almost in the air. I don't know what on earth happened there. And it's all come down very slowly. FatBoySim pulled. It was over a second on Tesco. There, that stonking start. So at some point there, Arwen got shuffled all the way to the back, as did Lucalis, and Arwen and Baz got collected with each other, and Baz was sent into the air there. Spectacular crash and a big DNF. So Arwen, who was in for a chance of a win here, has picked up a 10-second time penalty and is right at the bottom of the grid. He is out of contention for the lead. So FatBoySim, Tesco, Chiv there, and Rob have obviously moved up positions. Pace, Michelando, pretty much all drivers have moved up a couple of positions because Arwen dropped back. Dale moved up to P11. Mr. CD up to P12. Very solid from him. Musty has maintained his position. Lucalis fell back there. I think he had some sort of incident in T1. I'm just trying to see if he's still got part of his wing. He is missing an end plate. So Lucalis, we are back to green running, but Lucalis is missing an end plate. So big drama there. We'll see. I think Lucalis might have just gone into the pits. Tesco got very close to the back of the... Yeah, so Lucalis has gone for a wing change. Big heartbreak there. Tesco was right on the back of FatBoySim here. We'll see if he decides to get aggressive for a move. Chiv has fallen out of DRS range. Of course, DRS won't be enabled to the next lap, but I'll tell you what, Tesco is getting that much closer to FatBoySim. He was much closer. I think FatBoySim used a bit of battery, but I'll tell you what, Tesco's even closer. Is he going to go for a move here? No, he doesn't. Medium hard seems to be the suggested strategy, but you could see a couple of guys go for a one-stop. Chubby Slug makes the overtake on Michelando, going down into that straight there. Kev has also been passed by Bosch, I think that is. There, yeah, so Bosch passed Kev there. So Bosch up to P9, solid from him there. Lucalis has come out of the pits there after his wing change. Very unfortunate for him. FatBoySim looking to try and break it. Chiv is just getting back into the DRS range of those two. It won't be till next lap where DRS is enabled. Pace is just trying to keep onto the back of them. Chubby Slug is a little ways out of the way. Michelando is under pressure from Skarma there. Skarma, could he have a go at the end of the straight here? Sorry, DRS is enabled straight away. My apologies. It's a VSC. DRS is already enabled. Kev, I think, is going to have another go. No, he didn't have a go at Bosch there. FatBoySim has just pulled a bit of a gap on Tesco as it stands, and we are going to have a proper train of cars now as they round their way through. It's going to be pretty single file, has to be said. Obviously, penalties are going to be a big deal here, as well as FatBoySim is just pumping out the fastest laps. They might have just pulled the gap on Chiv as well. Tesco is going to be under pressure from Dale. Bosch has just fallen his way out of the DRS of Skarma. Skarma was actually very close to making a move on Michelando there. So we'll see if Skarma makes a move on the Aston Martin. Look at him. He's pushing him along there. I think Michelando is on the hard tyres there. He is. So Skarma could very well make a move here. Musty has come into the pits as well. I think he might have picked up wing damage as well. Look at the train of cars as they run all the way down here. Michelando goes defensive. Skarma goes to the outside. Skarma makes the pass on Michelando. Bosch there defending from Kev as well. Kev wasn't able to make the move. And again, it is all single file all the way through here until you get up to the Anderson Bridge. FatBoySim and Tesco have pulled an absolutely monumental gap on Chiv there, who is leading a train of him, Rob, and Pace. Chubby Slug 3 seconds behind and falling. Dale is right on the back of Kev there. He is really fighting for position. Dale in the back of there. Mr. C's also hanging on in terms of the DRS as well. Musty came out of the pits just behind Lucalis as well. So Lucalis has gained a position back from the pits there. He's probably gone into the hard tyres, I think. Skarma, excuse me, Skarma's actually made a pass on Chubby Slug, I think. Yes, so Skarma made the pass on Chubby Slug there. Chubby Slug are potentially already feeling the soft tyres fading away from him. Skarma made the pass. He's up to P6 and now needs to try and catch up to his teammate. Chubby Slug is going to be feeling those softs pretty much straight away. I'm going to go aboard with Michelando and see if he can make some sort of move there. Look at the snap from Chubby Slug. He's definitely feeling those tyres now. Michelando is close, but not close enough to make the move. Kev not close to make the move on them. Dale getting very close as well. Mr. Seedy just keeping on to the back of them now. I want to go right up to the top here. Tesco is still very close to the back of FatBoySim. Gaining on FatBoySim. Gaining on FatBoySim. Is Tesco going to make a move here? He does not. Sticks behind the Ferrari driver. Is it going to be an undercut? Are one of them going to try and pit first? We'll see. Rob was very close to Chiv there, just backed off of it. Pace just sitting on the back of that train as it stands. Michelando not making the move on Chubby Slug down the first DRS straight there. Arwen is just gotten onto the back of this train as well. He will try and make some moves on Mr. Seedy Dale and see if he can do anything in that train. But obviously, oh, let's have a look. That's Dale. Is he going to have a make a go? I thought he was going to send it up the inside of Kev there. I'm going to have a look here. Is Tesco going to try and make a move down the Anderson Bridge? I think he's too far away to make a move down the Anderson Bridge on FatBoySim. We'll see how that goes. Look at Michelando. He's pushing that Ferrari along. Chubby Slub gets the tiniest bit of DRS from Skarma. He's going to struggle to keep it now. Michelando, it'll be easy pickings in a little bit for the Aston Martin driver. Those softs are just going to start dying and dying and dying. Arwen could make a move on Mr. Seedy here, going into Sector 3. He goes to... no, he's not going to be able to make the move. Mr. Seedy defends. As it stands, Arwen stays P13. Having a look, Tesco still quite close. Michelando did make the pass on Chubby Slug in the... Oh, Chubby Slug is the pits, excuse me. Chubby Slug has taken off the soft tyres. He's had enough of the soft tyres, he says. Having a look, Mr. Seedy there goes defensive on Arwen. He's in an absolute Red Bull sandwich here, the Alpine driver. Dale has fallen off of the back of Kev a little bit, so Mr. Seedy needs to make this pass happen, or he's having to defend from Arwen there. Look, Arwen goes, he's going to go down the inside of the Alpine. He does go down the inside of the Alpine, excuse me. Brilliant move from him there. Is Mr. Seedy going to have another go at the Red Bull driver here? We'll see. He's in the toe. He's gaining on the Red Bull driver, but Arwen is going to get DRS from his teammate, and Mr. Seedy's not going to be able to make that pass. Rob is still on the back of Chiv there, who is leading an absolute train. Tesco's still on the back of FatBoySim, but look at that. 3 seconds, excuse me, away from Chiv. These two are in a league of their own, towing each other around at the moment. Arwen's probably going to try and make a pass on his teammate down the Anderson Bridge here as he tries to recover some spaces. I think Mr. Seedy had a big snap there, I thought, by the looks of it. As we having a look at the grid here, Lucullus is slowly gaining in. Chubby Slug has come out ahead, 7 seconds ahead of Lucullus there. As Arwen, is he going to go down the inside of his teammate? It's a good overtake. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. Dale almost didn't get it stopped in time. And, well, they were going to go side by side, but I think Dale is just letting his teammate past. Arwen, on those hard tyres, needs to try and get as much clean air positions as he can to try and make sure he comes out in a good place once he serves that penalty. And Arwen is going to tow his teammate along here as well to try and get away from Mr. Seedy, who's obviously going to be fighting Dale. Having a look, no other real moves going on up and down the grid. We see those two, how those two Red Bulls get on. Tesco is, again, just sitting on the gearbox of FatBoySim, not close enough to make a move. We said it's really difficult to make an overtake here. FatBoySim just recharging massively through the middle sector here. It's what you have to do. Rob not close enough to make a move on Chiv down that straight as well. I tell you what, Kev is that much closer to Bosch, but still isn't able to make the move. Bosch defending well for the Mercedes driver up to P8, which I think will be his best finish of the season. I'm not sure. Michelando is in a bit of free air, just broken away from Bosch, trying to gain in on Skarma. Skarma trying to gain in on his teammate Pace, who is at the back of that train, biding his time. Chiv there, you can see Rob and Chiv very, very close to each other. Rob's going to try and set himself up for an overtake here, as we see on the aerial cam, but Chiv just gets such good traction out there. I think they're on the same tyre. So yeah, they're both on the medium tyre. Pace on the hards there is just waiting, biding his time for when he gets a bit of free air. Tesco there, right on the back of FatBoySim. He's trying to regain whatever battery he has. FatBoySim also trying to regain whatever battery he has. These two are going to be... It's a waiting game for pitting first, I think. Tesco's probably going to try and go for the undercut. This is the main battle here, is Rob and Chiv. Tell you what, Chiv went a little bit wide there. He would have had to have let off to not get a warning. He's on the recharge. Is Rob going to send it up the inside? He doesn't. He waits. He waits and he bides his time. So, Arwen still holding the 10-second time penalty. He's also got a 3-second time penalty for corner cuts as well. So we'll see how that gets on. I think you tell you what, Tesco is getting closer and closer and closer to FatBoySim. He's probably going to be close enough to make a move. No, he backs out of it. He's waiting. He doesn't want to overtake here because of how difficult it is. Rob does make the overtake on Chiv, though. Chiv's going to try and defend this one as they go side by side through Sector 2 here. Chiv is going to get the more favourable line to defend. Rob is going to try and stick it around the outside. Chiv says absolutely no chance, and Rob has to slot in behind him there. Bosch and Kev are still fighting there. Kev is just not able to make his way past this kick driver who is defending fiercely here. Mr. CD is still on the back of Dale, who has fallen away from his teammate Arwen there, so we'll see if Mr. CD can make a move on the Red Bull driver in due time. But it's all as you were at the moment. As we see here, Rob closing in on Chiv, closing in on Chiv. Is he going to make a move this time? I tell you what, he goes down the inside. He decides not to go for it. It's so difficult to find a space for two guys to go side by side here. It really is, and Chiv has been defending very, very well, it has to be said. Pace, again, doesn't need to make the move. Mika Lando was just hooked onto the back of Skarma here. Expect to see a move potentially happen there as Musty picks up a 3-second time penalty. For corner cuts right at the back there. Mr. CD obviously very close to Dale. We're going to keep an eye on that. Still no move up the top there, but we will check in on them in a minute. Rob just that much closer to Chiv. You've got to be so sort of definitive in your overtake attempts here. You've got to absolutely make sure that you get it 100% right. Tell you what, Rob is very close to the back of Chiv there. Is he going to have a go down the DRS straight here? I think Rob is sick and tired of looking at the back of that McLaren car. He's got his DRS on. He's got his ERS on. Chiv is having to recharge. Rob is going to go around the outside of Chiv and will make the move stick this time. Rob moves up to the podium position. P3. Chiv will have a chance to go behind. Michelando actually made the pass on Skarma. So Michelando is absolutely flying on those hard tyres at the moment. He's doing very well. Pace, I think, very well may decide to make a move on Chiv in a minute. I tell you what, Pace is actually very close. Pace is past Chiv. So Chiv, that's a very unusual place for an overtake to happen. I don't know if Chiv let him go, if he's out of battery or what. I'm not sure, but Pace has made the move for P4. Arwen very close to the back of Kev there. Kev has been struggling to get past Bosch all session long. FatBoySim still maintaining his lead ahead of Tesco at the top there. Rob's actually pulled away from Pace ever so slightly, so Chiv will sit behind him. Arwen, thinking about the move, decides not to go for an Anderson Bridge, but tell you what, oh, Kev's in the wall! Kev is in the wall! It's a big hit! He's lost part of his wing. Oh my goodness me! And that was Mr. CD who went to take avoiding action. That's a remarkable save from Mr. CD. Very well done indeed. As Kev's car came unghosted at the worst possible time for the Alpine driver. But Kev is carrying wing damage. He's going to have to pit. He just couldn't get the car turned in. Very unfortunate for him. FatBoySim, as we can see, still leading. Mr. CD picks up a 3-second time penalty. Tesco closing in, getting that much closer. Pace is now in the DRS of Rob and is pulled. I suppose 2 seconds on Chiv. So Chiv looks to be really struggling now. He's probably going to be under pressure from Mika Lando at this rate. Skarma is still behind Mika Lando, not close enough to really make a move. Arwen is probably going to make a move. Oh, I've lost my thing here on Bosch. If I can get my thing back. There we go. Arwen is side by side and past Bosch there. Apologies, you didn't get to see that. Baz, I know I saw it on screen. Oh, look, Bosch, is he going to have a go at Arwen again here? No, Arwen defends very tidily. It was a remarkable crash, Baz. You were airborne. Bosch very close here, could very well try and stick with Arwen to have another go here. Arwen just trying to gain whatever time he can. As we've said, he's still got that big penalty to serve. Kev, I think, is staying out on his wing damage. I think he's staying out. He might decide to pit again. We'll have to see. Mr. CD there is still behind him. Obviously, he's got Vibora for company, but Vibora is not currently cooperating in this race. So we can ignore that for the time being. Not really... gap starting to form here. Bosch still on the back of Arwen. Wasn't able to make a move down the Anderson Bridge. Washes a bit wide and picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure, as you saw there. Yellow flag in Sector 2 there. Who is that? Is that Mr... That is Musty, I think, who is having an issue of some sort. Oh, he's got a puncture! Musty has a puncture on his front left tyre. What on earth has happened to the Alpine driver there? He's collected some wing damage for good measure. And oh, he's got a whole that car all the way back to the pits. That's heartbreak. What happened to the Alpine driver? He must have hit the wall at some point. Big drama there. He's got a long way to go before he has to go to the pits. That's terrible for the Alpine. Very unfortunate for him there as he just tries to navigate his way. Mr. CD comes into the pits as well. He is going for the tyre change. Fair play for Musty. He could probably do with a safety car now, couldn't he, to get himself back into that. That's very unfortunate. Pace is right on the back of Rob there. You see Rob recharging aggressively there as he tries to get some battery to defend. It's so important to do here in this game. Arwen there, very close to the back of Skarma. He has been hurling his way up to the grid. It's been a good recovery so far from him. We'll see if he makes the move anytime soon. FatBoySim still defending pretty well. Chiv is actually holding up a bit of a train here. Michelando is the next to look out for, if I can find him here. Yeah, so Michelando is right on the back of Chiv. Chiv got a pretty good exit, it has to be said. Is he going to make a move down the inside of Chiv? He decides against it. These two is going to be a battle to watch. Musty did make his way into the pits eventually, so fair play to him. And he's retired. I don't blame him. That's unfortunate from him there. Really, really unfortunate for that puncture. I'd love to see how he got that. Tesco not close enough to make the move. Pace, however, has gone around as Rob on the mediums has pit. So Rob is in the pits as it stands. Arwen stays out as Chiv comes into the pits as well. Skarma stays out. So Arwen going long as we have a look. So FatBoySim and Tesco still going on the medium tires. Tesco very close to FatBoySim. He's even closer to FatBoySim. He's even closer to FatBoySim. He goes side by side. We're going to see them go down the inside. And Tesco makes the pass for the lead. We've had a change for the lead. Tesco there on lap 11 has overtaken FatBoySim as the medium tire runners are going to pit imminently. So which one of these two is going to pit first? Does FatBoySim pit now to undercut Tesco as Tesco clips the wall there ever so slightly, or do they continue to go around again and extend for further? Michelando is now the head of this train here as Arwen sits at the back of him. Skarma is right under pressure from Bosch there on the hard tyres. The hards are really coming into their home now. Look at that slide from Skarma there. Bosch is almost pushing the VCAP out of the way. Bosch is going side by side with the VCAP driver. Oh, it's a brilliant overtake from the kick going into the old sling. Brilliant stuff there. My goodness me, very well done. What's the penalty situation? Well, I think Arwen has got a 10-second time penalty to serve for the collision, plus 3-second time penalty. Skarma picks up a 3-second, as does Bosch, as does Mr. CD at the back there. Lucullus is with Chiv. I'll see if Lucullus very well might be trying to take that to the end. I'm going to see any of these two. So Tesco and FatBoySim stay out on the medium tire. Interesting, interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Skarma is probably the next one to look at if he is going to go into the pits. Chubby Slug picks up a 3-second time penalty of good measure. Bosch obviously staying out. Skarma is staying. So Skarma pits. Skarma is in the pits. Kev there is still under pressure from Dale. These two have had a bit of a monumental battle so far this season. Chubby Slug is right on the back of them as well. Is he going to make a move on one of these two? We'll have to see. Dale is very goes. Chubby Slug, look, he's going to go side by side with Dale. He's past Dale. He's going to make the move on Kev as well. He doesn't, but he's made the pass on Dale. Chubby Slug is past. Chubby Slug is actually pushing. He's pushing that Mercedes along. He says, get out of the way. He's on the slightly fresher medium tires. Rob and Chiv. Rob has come out ahead of Chiv as we see Chubby Slug make the pass on Kev here as well. I'm just looking up at the rate. Luke on those mediums is going for the 2-stop, excuse me, so he's still got to go, but he's come out ahead of Skarma. So we'll see what happens with Luke. He's probably waiting for a safety car. No change at the top there, but I tell you what, that was FatBoySim getting very close to Tesco. Is he going to make a move up the inside? He's not going to make a move up the inside. These two are the ones to watch. They've pulled a monumental gap on the other drivers at the moment. I'm curious to see which one of them pits. Eris, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the race so far. It's going to be these two are definitely ones to look for your race win, and they're still staying out of the mediums. Interesting. Tesco has picked up a 3-second time penalty. FatBoySim went really wide there, but he might have avoided the warning, but that really shakes up the battle for the lead here. Tesco is carrying 3 seconds of time penalties, so if FatBoySim keeps it clean, he's in a brilliant position to win this race on time penalties. We see this gaggle of cars here. Rob on the fresh tyres is really coming up against some traffic. You look at Dale really struggling to get out of the way. Dale is going to have to stay out. Rob doesn't want to really go for the overtake there. He's got the Haas for company behind him, but he's going to make the pass on Dale here, and Rob moves up to P9 behind Chubby Slug still, but ahead of Chiv, who is behind all of that traffic at the moment with his teammate Lucullus a few seconds behind as well. Skarma gaining on Lucullus as well, who's probably dying on those medium tires at the moment. FatBoySim still, as it stands, behind Tesco. It's musty. It was a puncture from debris. Oh my goodness. I caught you and you had a puncture. It was heartbreaking. Well, you know, fair kudos to you for bringing it all the way back to the pits. Very unfortunate. But I knew there was going to be a puncture this race. I called it. I didn't know where it was going to come from, but I knew there was going to be a puncture. Kev is right on the back of Rob there. I think Rob has actually passed Kev at some point in the middle sector there. Excuse me. So Rob is just trying to get into some clean air. Chubby Slug is a few seconds ahead of him, who has complete clean air, but obviously will have to pick again. It is the commentator's curse, 100%. FatBoySim is in the pits. So FatBoySim is in the pits. Tesco stays out. So is FatBoySim going to do enough to undercut the Mercedes driver? We'll see how his pit stop goes. Got into the box perfectly cleanly, got the hard tyres on. It's a pretty good pit stop from FatBoySim there. We'll see how he gets on. He's got a bit of traffic to deal with. He's got Pace, Arwin, Michelando, and Bosch to deal with, but he will come out ahead of his teammate Chubby Slug. So a beautiful bit of clean air for him there. Dale is also in the pits. So Dale is in the pits. Lucullus has been passed by Skarma. Excuse me, I missed that while we were on board. If I can go find them on the screen there. So Skarma, Lucullus is pit. He's gone onto the hard tyres. He has done what he can now. So he's going to go onto the hards and see where he goes. So Tesco, as you can see, flying there. FatBoySim is just ahead of his teammate. He's going to get a beautiful... He's giving his teammate a toe, but his teammate's having to defend from Rob there. Rob really wants to be involved in this battle. I'll tell you what, Rob has done very, very well to actually put himself really close to FatBoySim. He's closed a gap of about 6 seconds there, but he's got this wall of a Ferrari to deal with, as FatBoySim is just going to happily pull a gap and has made Rob's life that much harder. So FatBoySim, the one to watch here, is he going to be able to make the undercut on FatBoySim? He's got 7 seconds of clean air. Bosch, the next hard tyre runner, ahead of him here at the end of the straight he's just got onto. Rob, I think, is probably going to try and make the pass on Chubby Slug here. I want to see how this happens. Rob is going to use all of his battery. Chubby Slug is going to go defensive. Rob, is he going to be able to make the pass? He isn't. Chubby Slug defends pretty well. Tesco is in the pits. So Rob is going to go side by side, but Chubby Slug is going to defend for all he can to hold him up. But I want to see what FatBoySim... so Rob isn't able to make the pass. Is FatBoySim going to come out ahead of Tesco? So we can see FatBoySim riding the final few corners now. Tesco is coming out of the pits on the fresh hards. FatBoySim is coming down the straight now. Tesco's waiting. He's got the pit line off. You can see FatBoySim on the side of your screen there. So FatBoySim goes around the corner and will come out ahead of Tesco. So FatBoySim has made the undercut work. He's pulled 1.5 seconds on Tesco there, who did come out ahead of Rob. Rob did get past Chubby Slug on the pit straight there. In the end, we were watching the pit battle. Rob is going to get DRS. He's going to try and attach himself to this battle here, but Tesco will have to try and shake Rob, see what he can do. Chiv is very close to the back of Kev. Chiv is side by side with the Mercedes car. Brilliant racing here. Kev decides not to fight it, and Chiv makes the pass for P9 on the hard tyres. He'll take those to the end. Lucullus did come out there behind Dale on the hard tyres. He's got a lot of work to do in order to get himself up. He will still score points down to 15th in this league, of course. Kev there on the back of Chiv. I thought Chiv had a bit of a wobble there. But obviously, Lucullus in a battle, a championship battle, if Rob is going to be in... So Rob is P3 as it stands. Pace leads Arwen by 7 seconds. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. It's Kev. Kev is off. Oh, unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. He rejoins behind Skarma. No safety cars. But big drama for Kev there. I think he's still carrying some wing damage. He's missing both of his end plates. Nearly puts it at the wall. So unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. He will have to come in and replace that wing at some point, I'd imagine. But yeah, Pace leads Arwen, who's got a 10-second time penalty to serve. Michelando and Bosch all on the hards. FatBoySim is actually gaining on them. As it stands, Kev is coming into the pits at the moment. Lucullus, where am I? So Pace currently leads at the moment. Safety car will be golden for these drivers now. Arwen a few seconds behind, still carrying a 10-second time penalty. Michelando in clean air, Bosch in clean air there. And then FatBoySim is actually gaining on the kick driver. Tesco looks like he's just barely broken the DRS to Rob, ever so slightly. Yeah, that's just drivers passing Kevin the pits there as he gets his wing replaced. So as it stands, FatBoySim is in the net race lead. Tesco in net P2, Rob in net P3, Chiv net P4, Skarma in net P5, depending on where Pace comes out when he decides to put those mediums on. And if those of you who are better at maths than me may be able to decide. So FatBoySim pulled almost 2 seconds of Tesco, but he has got traffic. We'll see. I expect him to probably make this move on Bosch here as he goes down the inside at the Anderson Bridge and makes the pass happen. Does he keep it within the white lines? He does. Bosch just trying to fight it back ever so slightly, but knows that this isn't his battle. We'll get a lovely Toad to pull him ahead. And FatBoySim has made his way past the first of the traffic. We'll see if he comes into any other. Arwen there, pits. So Arwen has come into the pits, as does Bosch, I think. So they have come into the pits. They are going to put on the medium tyres, I think, now. So Pace is the only car. So Pace is the only driver to have started on the hards. Oh, excuse me. To not pit yet. So we'll see where he goes. He is 15 seconds in the lead, but obviously still has to pit. FatBoySim there, Tesco, Rob, Chiv, all making their way past Skarma. They've all... I'm curious to see where they come out. So they will all come out in P7, P8, and P9. So Arwen there was able to serve his 10-second time penalty and come out ahead of Bosch, only barely, but Arwen has just recovered pretty well. So both come out ahead of Chubby Slug as well, so very good recovery from him there. I think that was Dale making a pass on Mr. Seedy down the pit road there. We didn't get to see it, just the end of it there. So these two drivers have been fighting so much this race. We'll see. Mr. Seedy has potential in P12, I think will match his career best finish so far. But he has got Lucullus closing in. P13, he's going to run the hards at the end, see what he can do. So FatBoySim, as we said, Tesco leads Rob there by a few seconds. These cars are starting to build their gaps. They're also scything into the time from Pace. I'm curious to see if he's going to pit this lap. He stays out. Pace is extending massively here. I'm curious to see what his strategy is, but he is loving the hards at the moment. He is absolutely flying. No real big battles at the moment. Bosch is right in the DRS of Arwen. We'll see if he is able to make a move. The next one to look for, I think Lucullus will probably start making his way up to Mr. Seedy in a few laps. Mr. Seedy obviously very close to Dale, but just out of the DRS range. So some good battles so far. The gaps are just starting to extend themselves a little bit. I love having a few shots with the thing off though, so we can get. I got to get that thumbnail. See for the. Got to get that thumbnail for the highlights. Yeah, like I said, a couple of gaps forming now. Bosch, I think, just still is in the DRS of Arwen, as it stands. And drivers are just sort of managing their way around now. Mr. Seedy picks up a time penalty. It's another time penalty for him. Very, very unfortunate for Mr. Seedy. That's 6 seconds of time penalties, which will go against his finishing time at the end. FatBoySim, again, just extending his lead on Tesco. Tesco managing that 2-second gap to Rob, who came out 8 seconds ahead of Chiv there. Don't know what happened to Chiv. Don't know if he had an issue of some sort. But Bosch just sticking behind him at the moment. I think Pace will come out. Probably come out. I think he'll come out behind Skarma. I think he'll come out behind his teammate. I'm not actually sure how long. He's in the pits, so we'll get to watch now. We'll watch as Pace goes on board, and we'll see where he comes out. Bosch has just fallen out of the DRS of Arwen there. Rob is that much closer to Tesco. But FatBoySim is just flying away with it. So an okay stop from Pace. I think it could have been maybe a little bit quicker. We'll see. Chiv is going to come around the straight here. We'll see. I think he's going to come out behind Chiv, and he is going to come out ahead of his teammate. So Pace comes out ahead of his teammate just barely. So Pace extended on the hard tyres, comes out P5, which is pretty much where he was to start with. But Chiv is easy pickings at the moment. He's 9 seconds behind Rob with no one in DRS. Skarma actually is going to get DRS on the fresher hard tyres on his teammate. Lucullus makes the pass on Mr. Seedy down the back there, down the pit straight. So Lucullus moves up to P12 and now has to get onto the back of Dale. Missed that there as we were watching the battle there. Pace We'll try and rein in Chiv here. Go up for P4, which would be a tidy finish for the VCARB driver. He's had a pretty solid start of the season. Won the sprint. His first win in P0. Still yet to win a race, unfortunately for the Dutch driver, but he will get there. But FatBoySim has been on another planet at the moment. And that pit strategy for FatBoySim has just helped him pull the gap on Tesco. We talk about how difficult it is to break the... we talk about how difficult it is to break the DRS here, especially with the power of the battery. So the pit strategy has worked really, really well because FatBoySim can just extend that lap. Chiv looking to try and break the toe there. He knows Pace is going to be hounding that McLaren driver. Pace needs to make this move happen fairly soon so he can try and pull away on those fresher medium tyres. As we see them round the pit straight here, Chiv moves over. He's ever so slightly breaking the toe. Not really an overtaking place down the pit straight. I expect this next DRS zone to be if they go for a move. Chiv slightly offline there. Look how much closer Pace is in the VCARB. Now Chiv made a bit of a meal of those first three corners. Pace is just pushing the gearbox. That McLaren driver, he's going to open his DRS. He's going to tuck into the toe. Chiv will try and defend this as Pace moves to the outside line. Chiv goes defensive but lets him have it. Pace moves up to P4. Can he break the DRS to Chiv on those medium tyres? We will see. Arwin is that much closer to Michelando. He pulled away from Bosch after overtaking him. And Arwin's been flying. He did actually set the fastest lap just a few moments ago with a 1:30.0, I believe, as those gaps are extending at the top here. Look at Arwin just on the back of Michelando. I thought there was going to be contact there. Arwin is going to go side by side with him. He tucks in behind the Aston Martin driver, but is he going to be able to make a move on the Anderson Bridge? We'll have to see. I'm going to take off the thing here. Look at Michelando. He's had a bit of a snap. Arwin's just having to wait, hesitate on the throttle. He's going to try and cut back on him here. Get on throttle as soon as you can. DRS on. ERS on. Michelando. Is he going to be able to defend this? Michelando takes the racing line. Arwin goes down the inside. Does he make the move happen? He does. He keeps it within the white line. But Michelando, is he going to go back at him? I think he's going to have to let him have it. Skarma is just gaining on Chiv as well. That's going to be the next battle I want to watch here. Skarma is in the DRS of Chiv. Michelando will try and keep up with Arwin as we watch their battle, as Chubby Slug looks to gain on them on the hard tyres. Lucas is gaining on Dale ever so slightly. Skarma now right up in the toe here. This is where Pace made the move. Can Skarma replicate his VCARB driver's move there? Pace did easily break the DRS to Chiv there. Skarma right in the toe, but not close enough. We will see these two go around once more. Michelando is still close to Arwin. Still close to Arwin. I don't know if he's close enough to make a move. He is gaining on the Red Bull driver, but not enough. So we'll watch that battle, and we'll watch this battle. These are the two to watch at the moment. Lucas is gaining on Dale, so we'll see how he can get on as well. As I said, the gaps are extending out front. Pace looks to just try and build whatever gap he can in the medium tyres before we see the crossover to the hards being the quicker tyre. Although Chiv's on 10-lap old hards. I tell you what, I wonder if Pace will actually gain on Rob. That would be a remarkable drive from the VCARB driver. We see them go on to the Anderson Bridge. Now Skarma still in the toe. Not really a good place to overtake here. It can happen. Michelando is pretty close to Arwin. Bosch is actually nearly quite close to tagging onto this train here. But not close enough. Skarma, again, just being towed along by the McLaren driver. You must feel helpless, Chiv, there. Not a whole lot you can do when you're the lead driver. Skarma gets a very good run through there. Not anywhere to overtake there. But he's going to slap some DRS onto the pit straight. Is he going to make a move at the pit straight? It would be an audacious place to do it. I think he's just holding off. This next DRS zone here, as you enter the end of Sector 1, is the best place to make a move. And you see, it's almost a replica of Pace there. He's almost pushing the McLaren driver, saying, get out of my way. Skarma is this much closer to the back of that McLaren car. Skarma puts his battery on, puts his DRS on. He's going to go to the inside, as opposed to his teammate on the outside. And Skarma is going to make the pass happen for P5. Brilliant drive from these two. Look at that. If I get the, 4 positions up from Skarma, 2 up from Pace as well. Brilliant drive from Skarma, replicating his recovery in Spa, but we'll see how Chiv can continue to battle that. Michelando's just fallen out behind Arwin there, and we see Dale, look, as he got defensive to Lucalis there. Lucalis almost looking for the pass down the DRS straight there. Dale defended mightily so. We'll see I'm going to leave the penalties. I'll get rid of the... There we go, yeah. So we'll see what Lucullus can do. I'm going to stick on the onboard there. Having a look, Chiv is right at the back of Skama, so I don't think that battle's over. Pace is very slowly gaining on Rob, but maybe not by enough. But again, FatBoySim just extending his lead there with just a few more laps. Oh, and Lucullus has hit the wall there. He may have knocked a bit of wear into his tyre. Hopefully he hasn't damaged his wing too much. Lucullus obviously had to deal with a broken wing early on. His wing looks intact. Let's see what he can do with Dale. These two had a mighty battle in Spa after Lucullus had to recover after a lap 1 incident. So these two had a brilliant side-by-side through Sector 1 and Sector 2. So we'll see if they can replicate it here. Chiv is just struggling to keep the DRS of Skama. He might have fallen out of it. Well, we'll see. They're just going under the DRS straight now. I'm just sticking on board with this because I want to see what Lucullus can do. He's that much closer to Dale. Big snap in the dirty air. He's got his battery on. Is he going to move down to T1 here? It would be a good move from Lucullus. And he makes the move happen. Dale, oh, big snap from Dale. There might have been a bit of contact. Dale sets it up the inside of T3. We didn't get a great view of that. I thought Lucullus had made the pass happen, but Dale isn't letting this one go without a fight. He's going to go right onto the back of that McLaren driver as he goes down to the straight. Lucullus is having to recharge his battery. Dale's using whatever he can use. He goes to the inside line. He makes the pass on Lucullus. Lucullus goes around the outside, sweeps around the outside, breaks later than the Red Bull driver, and makes the move stick. Great battle from these two. And Lucullus passes for P11. Now he's got a bit of a a monstrous task to catch up to Chubby Slug. It has to be said, but we'll see how that goes on. We'll see if Dale sticks in the DRS. Arwin is getting that much closer to this battle between Skama and Chiv. Skama hasn't been able to shake Chiv as it stands, and Pace is getting closer to Rob. He's got 7 more laps to catch up to Rob and get onto the podium, which will be a brilliant drive from Pace. We'll see what he can do. Obviously, those medium tyres are gonna start. He's gonna start feeling it probably in about 5 laps or so. He's really gonna start feeling those tires. Obviously, Rob is on the worn hards, so we'll see how they compare. Chiv is very close now. Dale is also very close to Lucullus. We might see a pass in a minute, but I want to stay on board with this. Arwin is just not in DRS, but he's very close. Chiv looks like he might go for a pass on Skama here, get himself a bit of a buffer. Chiv, as he looks in the inside, there's no room there. Skama defends, and Arwin will surely be part of this battle as they get over to the next DRS straight. But looking back down the grid, I'll tell you what, Dale is very close to the back of Lucullus. Is he going to be able to make a move here? Lucullus is a little bit wide of the apex, but does well to carry the speed. Dale has his DRS on, but Lucullus is defending with the battery. And these two, I think, it's not going to be over from these two at the moment. Arwin, I tell you what, Arwin is closed up very close to the back of Skama. Sorry, excuse me. So Chiv has made the pass on Skama there. I think Skama's had a moment because Arwin was over a second behind this battle. Skama's fallen behind Chiv, and Arwin is right at the back of them there. So Skama very well might have had an incident there. You'll have known by looking at the the mini map. Is Skama gets all out of sorts on the exit of that corner there, and Arwin has to avoid to not take the car out. Michelando's actually getting in this battle as well, so he could get involved in a minute as well. We'll look at Chubby Slug, who's also getting on Bosch. That's a battle to look out for. Dale also with Lucullus. I don't think that's over either. So as Arwin washes a bit wide, the dirty air is fierce here, isn't it? No move happening here. Chiv leads P5, Skama P6, Arwin P7. Skama and Arwin both carrying 3 seconds worth of time penalties as it stands. Pace is taking another second out of Rob. We'll have to see how that battle goes. I want to go and see, is Dale going to make a move on Lucullus? We're seeing this battle. Kev is also gaining on Mr. CD. That's what to look out for. I tell you what, Chubby Slug's actually really close to Bosch. Is he going to make a move? Bosch is having to recharge his battery. Chubby Slug is gaining quite a lot on the kick driver. Chubby Slug goes down the inside. No, he doesn't. No happening there. Bosch defends for now. Dale, again, that much closer to Lucullus. Is there going to be a move here? Dale gaining on the McLaren driver, but not gaining enough. That battle isn't over. Is Kev going to be able to make a move on Mr. Seedy here? As we ignore the Haas of Bora there. He's got his DRS on. Mr. Seedy is having to defend. Mr. Seedy's run out of battery. Is Kev going to make a move? He does not. Well, watch and see how that one gets on. Having a look, Pace is that much closer. Look how much closer he is to Rob there. He's pulled 2 seconds in one lap there, or a second and a half at least. Pace is just going to very slightly snag DRS off of Rob here, and the battle for P3 is on. Bosch has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Again, that's 6 seconds that he's going to have to deal with, as Chubby Slug, I think, is going to make the move on Bosch. He's side by side into the chicane, and Chubby Slug makes the pass for P9. So good driving from him there. The one I want to watch here, though, is Pace. Is he going to have a move on Rob here? He's close. He's in the DRS. He's 3/10 behind him. He's got the battery charge. He's on the fresher tire. Rob is probably going to go defensive here. Pace doesn't make the move, but he's going to stick behind Rob here. And Pace knows he's got all the time in the world to pick his overtaking opportunity. He's 15 seconds ahead from Chiv there, who is defending from Skarma. Oh, there's a big moment there. I think Rob had a moment. Rob has Pace made the pass on Rob there. As I switched off it, Rob had some sort of moment. Pace has moved up to the podium positions. Does Rob got wing damage there? He doesn't. I don't know what happened there. As I switched off of it, Pace has made the pass and has pulled the gap on Rob. He's fallen out of the podium, and Pace is up to P3. Having a look here, Arwen is that much closer to Skarma. Still the battle going on here. Dale is even closer to the back of Lucas, but still nothing happening there. Kev has just fallen out of the DRS of Mr. CD. Obviously, Mr. CD carrying those penalties. I tell you what, though, look how close Arwen is here. If I check in on the Red Bull driver here, is he going to make a move? He thought about it. He thought about it. Just getting in the mirrors of Skarma there, isn't he? And this battle isn't over. Look how close Michelando is on this. Chiv is holding up an absolute train here, and Michelando is getting the fun. Chubby Slug in the background is joining the flag as well. That's Bosch in the background as well. 6 constructors all fighting it out within just a few seconds of each other. Look at this. Arwen is hounding the back of this VCARB driver here. Chiv is defending for all of his might, but Skarma's probably going to have to defend from Arwen here. He's in the toe of the VCARB driver. He goes to the inside. No, he doesn't. He sticks out of it. And we go again. The drivers know the best overtaking opportunity is this straight here. Arwen looks to set himself up. He's just a little bit off of the apex there. He might struggle a little bit. Skarma is going to get the toe from Chiv here. Is he going to be able to make a move? Arwen, look at the car snapping as he gets on throttle there. Arwen really wants to make this move happen. Skarma is going to get the DRS there to defend, and Arwen has to stick behind. Oh, he's hit the wall. Arwen's hit the wall. He's got off. Arwen has got off. I think he's kept it all in one piece. He's got no wing damage. But Arwen there, almost doing a George Russell there, ambition well ahead of Adhesion, and Michelando is right on the back of him now, just touching in DRS distance, as Chubby Slug is also in DRS of these as well. Rob has fallen right off the back of Pace there. I'm not sure what happened with Rob. Lucalis has just broken the DRS to Dale, so that battle looks to have come to an end. But Kev is also very close to the back of Mr. CD here. Is Kev going to make a move on the Alpine driver there? He goes down the inside, and Kev, is he going to make the move happen? Oh, it's a big spin! Kev has spun round on the overtake with Mr. CD, and oh, everything that Kev has done today has just not worked at all, is it? Kev has just had a rotten time of it, hasn't he? Poor old Kev in the Mercedes car. Skarma picks up another time penalty. That's 6 seconds that he's having to deal with now. So Michelando, who's the only one of these drivers not carrying a penalty, is quids in, but he's got Chubby Slug for company here. In fact, Chubby Slug is actually going to make a move up the inside of Michelando with a T1. This will be a great overtake. Michelando is going to try and stick around the outside to defend. It's a great defense from Michelando. Chubby Slug has to wait to fight another day, but that's caused Michelando now to fall out of the DRS. Skarma is really close to the back of Chiv. Look at Arwen there. The snap of the car. Skarma. Is he going to have to make a move on Chiv here to try and defend his position? He is. He's going to go around the inside of Chiv here. Arwen, there's nowhere for him to go. Skarma down the inside. Chiv goes slightly off the track, and Arwen makes the pass. Chiv has been passed by both drivers. With Chiv defending around the outside, he's lost the position to Arwen. Chiv not carrying any penalties. Skarma and Arwen are, but he doesn't want to lose too many. Look, as Arwen passes Skarma at the top of your screen. Arwen has gained 2 positions in about 3 corners there. Absolutely brilliant from him. Mr. Series picked up another time penalty for good measure. Unfortunate for him. And this gaggle of cars, look at this gaggle of cars, there's 5 cars all fighting it out here. Arwen is now got to defend. So Arwen is carrying 3 seconds time penalty, Skarma's carrying 6, Chiv is carrying none, Chubby Slug's carrying 3, and Michelando's carrying none. So we'll have to see how this gets shuffled. Skarma is probably the worst off here with his 6 seconds of time penalties. Very unfortunate for him. But this battle is absolutely heating up. There's just a few laps left as well. As you can see at the top left of your screen, FatBoySim, Tesco, and Pace are just all sort of miles away from each other. But this is the battle to watch. Look at this. I love seeing these cars go forward. I tell you what, Chubby Slug is really close to the back of Chiv. Is Chiv going to get shoveled down even further? Chubby Slug is not going to be able to make the move. I want to stay with... I don't want any of this on screen now. We're going to look at this. Michelando is getting very close to the back of them. Doesn't really need to make a move, but wants to get past Chiv as the only other driver who doesn't have any other time penalties. Arwen looks like he's actually broken away a little bit, but I don't think it's enough for him to have broken DRS. Skarma's going to have to defend massively now as Arwen's recharging his battery. Chiv very close to the back of him. Chubby Slug gaining on him. Michelando's fallen away very slightly. Chiv got into the mirrors of Skarma. Chubby Slug with a late move down the inside on Chiv. There, that would have been ridiculous, but he doesn't make it happen. I think he probably would have picked up a warning for it. Michelando is very close to him as well, but not close enough to make the move. This is getting very tense indeed. Chiv is just fallen away out of the DRS of Skarma. Skarma's fallen out of the DRS of Arwen as well, so they are starting to just squeeze out a little bit. Chubby is the one to make the move. If Chubby gets past Chiv, though, that frees up Michelando to try and overtake Chiv for position, as we know these drivers are carrying penalties. Arwen is actually in a really good position here to maybe not lose a position to these because of the fighting that's been going on. As FatBoySim is on the penultimate lap, we will have to check and see how that goes on. For now, Chubby Slug is going side by side with Chiv. I was looking at this timing metric there. Down the inside of the final chicane, and Chubby Slug does make the pass. Frees him up. Michelando is very close to Chiv. These two are the ones to watch in terms of gaining positions from time penalties, although Arwen is pulling away that much further. Skarma's pulling away that much further than Chubby Slug, and these two drivers are really in trouble from not getting positions from time penalties. Chiv with a big snap. Michelando has to go around the outside. There's a bit of unavoidable contact. Chiv there, clipping the rear left of Michelando. Chiv is all over the road, and he's been shuffled down to P9. He's right under pressure from Bosch, who is also carrying a penalty. But Chiv there had a big moment in T1. Michelando just squeezed up the outside. Thank you very much. Arwen picks up another 3-second time penalty. This is brilliant news for Michelando. He's 2 seconds behind Chubby Slug, so he's still within Chubby Slug's 3-second window, as Chiv picks up a 3 seconds as well. So Michelando could be on for a P5 here if he can stay within 3 seconds at least of Chubby Slug, but Chubby Slug is just pulling away that much further as the hard tyres are starting to become the better tyres. This is going to be a very interesting end to the race on where these 5 drivers will all line up. Arwen there, that's a bad time to pick up a time penalty. Michelando's just struggling to stay within the 3 seconds of Chubby Slug as well. Chubby Slug is obviously just ever so slightly behind Arwen as well, so Arwen and Skarma might actually be... Well, Arwen might be okay. He might lose a position to Chubby Slug might jump both of them up to P5. We'll have to see. It'll be a great drive from Chubby Slug as well. What was his position change? Yeah, he started P8. I couldn't remember. Yeah, the penalties are what we want to watch at the moment as I stay on board with... I'm going to look at Chiv there. Is he going to be overtaken by Bosch? They are on the final lap at the moment, so we will check in. I'll tell you what, right at the top there, Skarma was actually really close. Skarma's passed by Chubby Slug. I caught that at the top of my screen. Chubby Slug is up to P6. He's made the pass. And Chubby Slug's up to P6. Puts him in a brilliant position. Michelando's got right up to them as well. He's gained a little bit of time into them, I should say. Because of that battle. So it's going to be a really interesting end. And see if he can... Michelando's just fallen out of the 3 seconds, actually. He's just fallen out of the 3 seconds ever so slightly. So Michelando's struggling on those medium tyres. We will see where their finishing positions is, but I'm going to have to go all the way over to FatBoySim here. He was on pole by 0.5 of a second. He lost the lead to Tesco. He got the superior pit strategy, and he's been driving in a world of his own for the second race. FatBoySim wins in Singapore, and a long way back, Tesco will come home for a very tiny P2, and even further behind, Pace executes a very good reverse strategy to come home to P3, and it is my driver of the day. Congratulations to Pace there. Brilliant drive up to the podium. It's another podium for his tally. Rob will come home in P4, and this is going to be the one to watch. Arwen will come home in P5. I'm going to go all the way down to Lucalis here, who's actually closed right up onto the back of Chiv there. So Chubby Slug jumps Arwen as Skarma crosses the line P3, and Michelando jumps him for P7. Skarma P8, Bosch will come on P9, Chiv will come on P10, P10, Lucalis up to P9, Bosch up to P11, following penalties, excuse me. Lucalis with a very good recovery there up to P9. Dale will come home in P12, and Mr. Seedy will round us out for P13, and Kev, I think, might come home and jump him for P13. There's 9 seconds of penalties, so as long as Kev is able to round it out, he will finish in P13 and then Mr. CD in P14. Great race, brilliant race, lads. And yeah, so we see there, so Mr. CD crosses the line and Kev will come around the final corner as our final finishing car on the track and will jump Mr. CD for position. Brilliant race, brilliant race. As I said there, my driver of the day is Pace. I want to give plaudits as well to both Arwen, as you can see on your screen, and also to Lucalis, who both recovered very, very well. Arwen, obviously, with his incident, got his 10-second time penalty and recovered up to P6 in the end. Lucalis, obviously, qualified P12, I think it was. Had another incident turn 1 and executed a 2-stop to come up to P9. But my driver of the day is the Dutch driver of Pace. Very well done. But your applause has to go to FatBoySim. He has been on a different level today. Absolutely brilliant. My goodness, well, what a race that was, lads. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to see if I go in as... I'm just going to check and see if drivers are available for any interviews at all. And there is your finishing screen there. I'm just going to... Oh, my controller's disconnected. No, not what I want. Yeah, thank you. Well, I'd love to be able to see... There we go. That's what I want to see. I want to see those right at the... Yeah, those are the two at the bottom there. I am just going to check really quickly. I am just going to, if you bear with me a second, I'm going to just mute myself very quickly. Right, I return. I'm going to have the wonderful Pace join us for a quick Driver of the Day interview. Unfortunately, the podium sitters weren't able to give us an interview, but we'll speak to Pace and see how he does. Pace, welcome in.
Hello there.
Congratulations on Driver of the Day. You got the alternative strategy, extended on the hards, and worked your way up to the podium position. So very well done.
Yeah, it was... all I can say is that I'm quite sweaty right now. I tried to push to get Tesco's penalty window, but there was no chance.
Well, those two were on a different planet today.
Yeah.
But no, you did very, very well to come out where you were. You drove imperviously, sat very patiently behind Rob and Chiv, just extended your gap, pitted at exactly the right time. And yeah, you made the pass on Chiv and made the pass on Rob as well, and just drove off into the distance.
Yeah, it was. My first strategy was to pit lap 17, but I realized when I saw Rob pit for the first time at lap 10 or 11, I was like, this medium's probably gonna go off in 10 laps. So I need at max 12 laps on these. So I just tried to extend as much as possible. And when I realized I could come out right in front of Skarma and then pull him towards Chiv, so he could get a run on him. I was like, let's just fucking go for it.
Well,
So
if
yeah.
I had a trophy, I'd give it to you, Pace. But I will
Cheers.
leave it to you. Congratulations. I think that's your second or third driver of the day this season. So very well done. And we'll see how you get on in Austria.
Thank you very much.
For now, lads, I will leave you and let you go. Thank you all for being here for another brilliant race here in Singapore. It's Austria next week, which is always a classic. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all next Sunday.